Hello and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I am joined today with both Brian and Slothy. Brian, how are you doing?
Oh, excellent. I have had a great week, actually.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I have no real complaints.
Slothy, how are you doing?
Oh, not so bad. Feeling a little under the weather today, but that's been a good week. How you doing?
I am finally starting to feel better. As everyone who listened last week saw, I wasn't here. I was feeling really, really sick. I even took some time off work, and I never take time off work, so I'm on the mend. But you're gonna hear me. You're gonna hear me eating some lozenges during this episode, almost certainly. So for anyone who's looking at the YouTube stuff, it's a desk full of fisherman friends, more than normal.
On that note, fisherman friends, sponsor us.
I should own stocks in that company at this point. Yeah, no, it's
honestly, Daniel buys so.
I do buy a lot. I have like 4 empty packs on my desk, my cleaned desk. One of these days I'll hook it up. I was looking at the camera setup we use for our streaming, and I was learning how to do it all through the stuff. So maybe I'll do like a 10 angle setup so I can just not pay attention to the episode recording and just stream back and forth. Make everyone I'm recording with angry.
The different dimensions of Dan.
Yeah. All the YouTube comments are these episodes were great, but what was that floor to top angle that he was running?
Were we looking underneath his desk?
What? Yeah. Looks like that one was just in a closet in a different room. Yeah, but it is what it is, right?
I forgot about that one.
These are sanctuary cameras for the house hippos.
Yeah.
We're trying to get real proof.
Yeah. We normally do a bunch of decks and stuff. Today we're going to do a little bit of lore. So it's going to be the March of Machine stories. Everyone's kind of been seeing the spoilers. Follow us on Instagram. You'll see a ton of them. We've been putting lots of them up. There's actually some pretty great cards. We'll be going over a bunch. I'll wait till the spoilers episode to talk about battles, but I got some real problems with battles. I'll say that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, some real problems, some real issues there. It's not a great mechanic. It needs to be fixed almost certainly.
Interesting. I am interested to hear your thoughts.
Oh yeah, like it's just the battle mechanic sucks. I got a real rant about it. It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense, but we'll get there when we get there. So today, yeah, I chatted with someone on Reddit, very friendly person. Who is the user here? It's Owl Prophet Magician. They wrote up a really, really cool summary of Mother of Machines, just the story, so we don't have to read you guys like 500 paragraphs of the story. So we're going to be going through that kind of thing, talking through the story as we go. I'll put a link to that post and over to the Owl person's page. And yeah, the story's, I think, pretty cool, but I think there's some big problems with it. We'll just
like shoulder getting axed at the beginning. I am not. I do not approve.
Yeah, so Brian, you can take us away here. We're gonna some of it's gonna be verbatim, some of it's gonna be just us changing what it says because that's how we roll. But yeah, Brian, take us away with some of the story, please.
To begin, it's Elish Norn Dami Mommy corporate strategy meeting time. I did enjoy that entrance set.
Yeah.
So apparently Elish Norn's reaping in her victories or just very happy with herself. And I think that the first big part that I read there was like Shoulder being dragged into like the room by like some of the planeswalkers that have been completed.
Yeah.
And like just executed on the spot. Like I was just like, oh, like she's like the one praetor that I actually really enjoy using.
Shoulder's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think underused in a lot of decks.
Yeah, so basically the start is that it confirms that Nissa is in control of the Realm Breaker. A quick backstory is that's basically what they've been doing. Tezret's a bad boy. He's been helping them out. Vorinclex was able to go to Kaldheim. They stole part of the stuff to make like another world tree, and that's how the Phyrexians are actually breaking into the multiverse. The TLDR of the last set was they were there trying to stop it. They didn't stop it. Elspeth planeswalks away with their Silex that they were trying to blow it up because Elspeth and a bunch of the other planeswalkers didn't want to blow everything up. So Elspeth walks away to the Blind Eternities, seemingly dead. We've got Jace completed, Vraska completed, Nahiri completed. Nissa, again, like I just said, is controlling the Phyrexian tree that's broken into all the worlds. And basically the end of the last... Huh?
I think Luca's another one of the planeswalkers that they have.
Yeah, Luca. Everyone forgets about Luca. Luca goes to fight in Ikoria. But so basically the realm breaker was able to get into tons of these other realms, and the Phyrexian invasion is starting underway. So we've got Nissa controlling it. Tamio seems like there's a little bit left inside of her, like trying to figure it out. But Elish Norn basically sends Tamio to Kamigawa to go destroy it and basically get away from everything you need. So yeah, like Brian was saying, we get shoulder dragged right into the throne room by Ajani, Atraxa, and Luca, executed on the spot. Bam, dead. Which is, this is one thing I didn't like. The Predators were built to be the big bad boys of the set. Like they're, and
they easily get dispatched like that. Like,
yeah, ridiculously hasty.
Yeah, it seems like I haven't enjoyed a lot of the story stuff lately. I'll be the first to say that. This is kind of interesting because it brings a good new set, and I cannot stress enough how much I am in love with the just the fact that they've done all these team up, all these other things where they're able to go through the multiverse, and yeah, like that's very cool. But it's just not enough with the end of these planeswalkers. Like Bolas, you built up Bolas in like a crazy story and had like this insane war where the stakes felt so real, and this just seems, like you said, hastily closed up for...
Yeah, it just seems like almost Elish Norn is just going to start axing all of the heads of the different levels now.
Elish Norn does go silly.
Everything. Yeah, she seems like she's doing it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to read part of how they wrote this because it's very good. This, again, great write-ups for these things. It's all standard players feel a small spark of hope in their chests. Those two are sent to Theros and New Capenna specifically to utilize the power of the gods and deal with what Norn assumed would be the source of Halo. Atrax is noticeably worried about going to Capenna, but Norn won't budge. She's confirmed the mommy after all, and the mother knows best.
I like some of the write-ups for this is fantastic.
It's
like
all
some
hilarious,
of the sentences, I was just like, Daniel, did you write this?
It is very very similar to my speaking style, so I had a good laugh. That's probably why I enjoyed it so much.
Probably.
We go, meanwhile, girls' night at the Vest safe house. Chandra, like this is the point of view, waiting very, very patiently for news from the strike team, along with Liliana and Ren and Vivian. Anyone remembering a few bits from Kaladesh where Liliana and Chandra had major gal pal energy? Wizards remembers, and so they reflect on that for a little bit with more of a waiting around at a funeral sort of energy. This is a great write-up.
It is. Ren is cute and fantastic, and I cannot do her character justice here. But she's thriving.
Ren's a great planeswalker.
Yeah.
Oh, where was it? Oh, Ren, except Ren. Ren is a tree and has big tree thoughts, which begin to inspire some ideas.
Is that at the top there?
No,
that's a little bit further down.
Yeah,
a little bit further down.
We'll get there, Brian. We'll get there.
I wanted the sentence. It's so funny.
The three survivors return with bad news. This time to continue making up for lost ground with the angst that Chandra is feeling over the loss for her significant other.
Also, I will say that's finally good that they like really made a lot of people angry with the whole like will they won't they with Nissa, and then they didn't, and then even with the like they did the Pride secret lair and they put Chandra and Nissa in the Pride secret lair on different ships, literally like saying like no, your ship it's a different ship. It was a pretty silly thing to do. So it's kind of nice that you're seeing a little bit of that story get more attention where they are like interested in a romance a little bit. Nissa being completed is obviously devastating for Chandra. That's like that's not good news.
Yeah,
I had no idea. That's cool.
Yep. Carry on.
Butterby on my line. Except Ren. Ren is a tree and has big tree.
No, we're not at that line.
Stop reading that one, Brian.
Sorry, I enjoy that sentence very much. Chandra is ready to go and dive into Phyrexia to save her lost friends. Surely the power of friendship is in there somewhere. But Liliana and Co. do rightfully tell her that that is an awful idea. Now someone take my sons.
No, go ahead, Brian. Take it, please.
Go ahead.
No, I've already read it so many times. As the gears begin to turn on, the interdimensional clapback.
That's fair.
So they're
And
so
then
are
it's
these
the Temmio
the
chapter.
yeah?
Basically, the only one who's interested in going to New Phyrexia is Chandra and Ren. Everyone else is like, hey, this is a terrible idea, and it went really poorly the last time we tried to do this, so perhaps we just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps we avoid that whole fiasco.
And I assume that was the New Phyrexia set that they try to jump there to.
That was the last set. Yeah, that was the whole set, was them trying to invade New Phyrexia. That's where Jace got completed. That's where all things started to go bad.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about the story except for what you guys tell me, so I'm kind of interested at bits and pieces.
Today we learned, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff that it's the lore makes it fun to build some commander decks, and it's really really fun to see all these team ups. Like I said, I cannot stress enough how much I love this team up mechanic and how it really represents like the insanity that's going on with this invasion. And that's why this invasion should not have wrapped up in one set.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this should have been at least two.
This should have been the
at least
year.
2 or 3.
Yeah, like.
But that would require them to go back to blocks, and they don't want to do that, but
Right?
I want them to do that.
Yeah. So
But
we've got Tamiyo leading the Phyrexian charges of Kamigawa, continuing to sink deeper into the Phyrexian bad vibes, unsealing one of her super duper forbidden never touchy spells, recounting the story of Urza and Karn. She converts it into Phyrexian oil and uses it to destroy Boseiju. Modern players gasp before their air leaves their lungs.
smash cut, Kaya and Kato jump across the roofs of the city, trying to save people as things get worse and worse. Seeing the oil pouring from Boseiju, they decide to try to strike Tamiyo down.
My poor furry heart. Nashi made himself some junkyard power armor and wants to try to talk to Tamiyo. Kato decides that, hey, technically we haven't tried that yet. Why not?
It doesn't work. Of course it doesn't. Basically, by the way, Nashi, that's like the rat thing. That's like Tamiyo's kind of like adopted son. So anyways, yeah, of course it doesn't work. Kato saves Nashi, begins throwing hands. And Kato's got hands, I'll tell you that right now. Tamiyo's throwing scrolls. She has the upper hand. Until, my God, it's the Emperor. Ooh, the Wandering Emperor with a steel chair. It's a great write-up. Just as Tamiyo's about to kill Nashi and Kato, the Emperor actually factually does the cool anime sword thing. Whooshing! Tamiyo dead. There is no more Tamiyo. Bye-bye.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Something does rise in her place.
Who's
One
the
of the-
Emperor?
That's the Emperor of Kamigawa, the Wandering Emperor. The Wanderer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
or the Spark one.
yeah, Emperor of Kamigawa is Kato's childhood friend. I don't think they've actually named her yet, but
Really just known as the Wanderer.
yeah, it's the Wandering Emperor. Her spark's unstable, so she's very, very strong, but can't really control where she goes. So she just kind of pieces out at random in the story, like she was on New Phyrexia and just whoop, bye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why the new abilities like the blink in and out and kind of thing. That's really what the Wanderer does. Very powerful,
Gotcha.
but very, very sporadic.
That's funny. I
Yep.
like that, actually.
But something does rise in Tamiyo's place. One of her super duper forbidden never touchy spells was a failsafe, and Tamiyo had made a simulacrum of herself out of the pure energy. And now she got to hug his mom.
Yeah, nice little bring it home, bring it on in. I just try to kill you, but that's all right.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah, right.
So she made another version of herself?
Yeah, kind of like a last like parting, hey, I'm still here thing.
Ah, gotcha.
Yep. Then it says we get jump cuts aplenty. We've got Tyvar on Kaldheim. Tyvar rallies his brother, the fellow elves, and all of Kaldheim to prepare for glorious battle. Stay winning, Tyvar, stay winning. So basically they're getting ready to go silly. A lot of people think that it's maybe Coma that's completed. They end up seeing that, but the Phyrexians have come to Kaldheim again, because it's not just Vorinclex this time.
And Tyvar's not completed.
No, Tyvar's a good guy.
Okay. Interesting. Then, meanwhile, Pia laments the death of her home. Phyrexian conversion is quite easy to do to a lot of Kaladesh.
Yeah,
Luckily,
whole plane's metal, so not really much you can do with the.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's the invention and invocations, or not the invocations plane, the inventions plane, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, because just like Mirrodin and everything like that, the metal, the oil easily corrupts it, right?
Yeah, that's why Mirrodin got wrecked so badly. That and Karn being a terrible absent father. He proverbially stepped out for cigarettes in the Magic story, and
He's
just
going to
never
get some
came
milk.
back.
It's okay.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
he came back with that milk, basically at the scholarship point.
Hey.
Oh, that's funny. And then luckily Saheeli has a plan, and that plan is dinosaur attacks. Let's go.
Oh no, they are specifically lesbian dinosaur attacks.
Okay.
Yeah, they're rolling pretty hard on those. Yep, a lot of pair ups in this. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which characters are these? I don't know.
Saheeli Rai, she's like an artificer planeswalk.
Oh, okay. That
She's
one.
the blue-red one.
Yeah, she's always making random things. I think she has a pair up card too in something. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I know they haven't spoiled everything yet. No, they haven't. They haven't spoiled her thing yet. But
okay.
Yeah. Anyways, Karen.
Meanwhile, in New Capenna, Atrax is having a really bad day. Because it turns out Capenna's not that fun to try to take over. Even when Elish Norn specifically told Atrax to just destroy everything.
Wreck house.
And strangely enough, the Maestros do get to Atraxa. And how they are about art. Atraxa crashes into a museum and has a massive existential crisis, briefly stepping away from the Phyrexian vibe, but does resolve to keep pushing forward, seething with hatred at all the angelic statues of the world. Something strange is happening in the air around her, and it might not just be the poison.
Yep.
Yeah.
It says, meanwhile, they literally called it Cathartic Reunion. Chandra and Ren arrive on New Phyrexia, and the two meet Koth and Malira, who are understandably a wee bit skeptical about this plan to build Ren into the Realm Breaker. Ren, for anyone who doesn't know, is like a Dryad Planeswalker. I'm sure everyone's seen Ren and 6 in the case with that wild price tag on it, and then there's the new Ren and 7 card. So basically, Ren melds with trees, but they have to be like special trees because Ren took like a whole forest fire that was destroying the glade she lived in into herself. That's why like Ren's always got like that fire in her chest. So it's got to be like powerful like tree folk trees that can pair with her. And she loves to show them around the universe and stuff like that. And like Ren's a very, very cool character. And she takes these trees on these beautiful journeys to see different planes and different pastures. And like Ren's great. Ren is thriving. This is the right way to look at it.
Which one's Malira?
Malira wasn't a planeswalker, but she was basically the hope of New Phyrexia. Like back on Mirrodin, it was initially the card that made it so players can't get poison counters and counters can't be placed on permanents. Yeah,
right. Yes.
That kind of thing. So again, Malira also is really good at resisting the pheresis, and like that's basically what Malira's point of the story is. A big part of the resistance with Koth of the Hammer, who's still around, kicking, fighting the good fight.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So anyways, the current track record of everything has just been not great on any of New Phyrexia. It's all gone bad. But the plan is basically for Ren to take over the World Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
So the World Breaker's a tree?
Yeah, so like, the World Tree, like its card from Call Time makes it. They basically made another version of it. So the World Breaker is what Nis is in control of, and it's like spread out across the pathways so that it can basically be a bridge through the blind eternities through these things. It's connecting New Phyrexia to these other planes.
That's how the Phyrexians are invading.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically the evil world tree.
Ooh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I think maybe I have that. They made it a card, right?
It's the evil one.
Yeah.
Is a new card coming out in the new set. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they conspire with Urabresk, who's the Red Praetor and has been like rebelling, basically never been a big part of the Phyrexian Praetor Alliance. Urabresk has basically let the survivors of Mirrodin live there and doesn't mess with them, kind of thing.
Well, it's I wouldn't be down for it too if she just slaughtered one of the other leaders.
Even from before and stuff. That's why Atrax is a 4-color angel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because Urabresk didn't participate. Could you imagine if we got the 5th color, though? Ooh, Urabresk should have come through. So anyways, yes, they conspire, who states quite plainly the alliance is one intended to depose Elesh Norn. He's equally skeptical of the current track record of success. While the Myrians cause a diversion, Koth actually factually uses the magic to propel Chandra and Ren skyward with the mother of all rocket jumps. Basically, giant geyser go boom.
Nice.
Wow. And then they arrive at the base of the Realm Breaker, but Nissa emerges from the tree itself to subdue them. The angst is palpable in the air, Chandra wavering and unable to conjure any fire.
Yeah, you don't want to burn Nissa.
No, probably a bad idea.
We love Nissa.
I think you got to burn her.
Oh, fair.
Ren clings on, desperately trying to bind with the Realm Breaker while Nissa torments Chandra. Chandra is truly broken when she hears Nissa speak with a level of honesty so clear that Chandra realizes Nissa might be completely and totally just Phyrexian now. Or worse, that she genuinely just wants to be together forever.
So yeah, basically Phyrexian Nissa's like, join me, we can do this together, we can be there. It's it's magic story spotlight from the new set. I can't remember the one, but it's something horrifying revelation or something like that. And it's pretty crazy artwork drawn, and it's Nissa seeing Chandra, or Chandra seeing Nissa the first time in this completed like multi-armed form, which is pretty crazy. Take the next one, please, Brian.
She grabs Nissa in a hug devoid of all shippability and erupts, throwing herself and Nissa off the pedestal of the Realm Breaker, praying that Ren will be able to carry out the plan. And then Elspeth has entered the chat.
Bam! Elspeth is back from the blind eternities as an angel. Elspeth rematerializes around her earliest memory, that of the Phyrexian torture pit where her mother died and she ignited her spark. Elspeth hates, like genocide hates the Phyrexians. So it says, so basically she's come back, Archangel Elspeth's a card coming out. An unknown entity questions her, and reading her thoughts puts forth a simple decision. Elspeth will return to fight because that is who she is, but where and when? Basically Elspeth, with this newfound divinity, is like scanning the multiverse looking for where she should go. So it says the camera pans across New Capenna in a battle with Atraxa, but their defenses hold. Elsewhere, Theros Daxos welcomes her and shows her the plight of Melodis, as the corrupted Ajani leads prayers of Phyrexian fervency to complete the gods themselves. Already 3 have fallen, and soon more, but still, Elspeth knows this is not the place. Phyrexia, then. Amidst it all, Elesh Norn... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just to jump in, I think it's really cool how they're completing the gods.
Yeah, that's...
And the, like the method of that, because...
the Theros gods are all like prayer and devotion.
Yeah, that's how they're brought into existence.
Yeah.
So having them be...
Yeah, the fact that they're
changed.
Like chanting these like Phyrexian like evil prayers to like be like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
We have cookies over here, guys.
Right?
we pray over here too. Come hang out.
It says, amidst it all, Elesh Norn tortures the captured Urabresk and gleefully orchestrates the execution of the surviving Myrians. Surely this is the place, but no. The voice reminds her Elesh Norn is not the one. She is but one version of Phyrexia that will come and go. It's not just her that must be stopped. As the Praetors bring the captured Chandra and Ren, Elspeth remembers what Ren told her. To see the whole tree and care for the whole tree, even if it means chopping off a poisoned limb. Which, by the way, is a great saying, just overall. Like, I'm going to read that again because it's so good. Just, you should see the whole tree and care for the whole tree, even if it means you have to chop off a poisoned limb. Anyone listening, take that into your own life however you want to and stuff like that. If you got bad people or bad situations, get them out of there. It's nice and wholesome.
Yep.
But now, here, Elspeth knows this is the time. The voice, who the clever Redditors have known this whole time is Sarah, the main angel, embraces Elspeth, unlocking this new evolved anime-esque form. Elspeth Angel Mode has entered the ring.
Oh, please. It's Elspeth time with a steel chair. I love the beginning of some of these paragraphs. This is excellent writing. And you're sure you didn't write this down?
No, I didn't, but it is similar to how I would write nonsense. So I'm very happy. It's again, definitely go check out more of this stuff. I'll post the story in the show notes. It's great. If for anyone who doesn't know, essentially, again, like I said, Karn, absent father. A lot of the Phyrexians worship Karn as like their god. He's the father of machines, and Elesh Norn is the mother of machines. So they've kidnapped Karn again, as they like to do. Karn was getting Phyrexianized before. Venser, a planeswalker from Mirrodin in the first place, had to give up his spark to actually keep Karn going. So Karn's spark is not really Karn's spark, it's Venser's.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why Venser Corpse Puppet from the last set was such a sad card, because Venser gave his life to save Karn, and then it's just like a inanimate, animated thing, like a hollow. Literally, I think it summons a card called the Hollow One, something like that. Like it's pretty heavy metal.
I actually use it.
Yeah, see, there you go. So anyways, it says Karn's sad robot. Sad robot knows he's going to die. Karn has basically been pulled into pieces by the Phyrexians until he wants to start helping out. So Karn's like heads in a spot, like his arms are in places, like he's been ripped apart.
Sounds like the story of Braveheart.
Yeah, right. It says, but then, all right, you filthy animals, you've been joking about Doomslayer Elspeth for months now. Turn the OST on. This is your moment. Elspeth Tyrell, in all her glory, descends upon the throne room in a brilliant light, and Elish Norn immediately basically oils herself in fear, is what it says. Elish Norn's terrified of Elspeth because Ashiok was showing Elish Norn nightmares of Elspeth defeating her and like stabbing her and chasing her down. So Elish Norn's terrified of Elspeth just in general. And yeah, like this is the nightmares coming real. It says, then with fervency and little else in the way of poise, starts literally throwing everything she has at the thing of her nightmares. Her followers, her throne, Vorinclex, horns, everything's bouncing right off of Elspeth. Sad robot smiles. It's good to be playable in a Super Friends deck. That's funny. It says, Ren is alive, but Ren is in pieces and without a tree. But even so, as soon as she sees Elspeth, she's always known existed, Ren is thriving, even though Chandra has to literally pick her up and try and drag her over to the Realm Breaker. Meanwhile, Elspeth takes on Elish Norn and Jin-Gitaxias 1v2. It's a fairer fight now, especially because it happens alongside the verbal fight between Elspeth and Elish Norn. The Mother of Machines bursts out all the rhetoric she has, and Elspeth has to wonder what's so different between them. As Elish Norn bullies Jin-Gitaxias for his insubordination, the angel realizes the truth, that Elish Norn isn't that different from her. In fact, that she's not infallible. The oneness is a sham, and Elish Norn is just a power-hungry maniac. Elish Norn, very angry. Even more angry when Elspeth plunges her sword into Norn's chest and flies past her to support Chandra and Ren. Sarah helped initiate the plan, and Elspeth knows what the cost might be. Ren must reach the Realm Breaker at all costs.
And now, Ren's thriving. It's the fourth down. They can't kick a field goal. This football Ren needs to get to the Realm Breaker, and Team Mirren, led by Koth and Malira, are going to happen. Chandra's the quarterback. She's running, but less for Ren and more to run from the pain of Nissa on the other team, pursuing her with her own cruel love. With words of encouragement from Ren, Chandra turns to face her fears. Koth and Malira take Ren and charge. Getting her at last to the tree, Ren begins to sing in the only way that she can. The tree is horrible, but Ren knows that it is still a tree, and her Sylvan love can break through to it, even with a boost of Malira's powers. She embraces the sapling that once was the world tree's spawn and gives him a name and all of her soul's fire. Ren isn't just thriving, she is thriving. Aight, the sentient sapling, surges out, scraping by every plane at once until he and Ren find the one fragment of a plane they need, Zulfir, and Teferi. It won't be enough to shepherd only Teferi back to New Phyrexia, though she knows it will be something extraordinary, something she may not live through. Ren does what she knows is right, as she always has. She wrenches Zulfir from the Blind Eternities and slams it into New Phyrexia itself.
So Zulfir's Teferi's home plane, and it's phased out of existence, like caught in nothingness. And the Realm Breaker was able to find it because of Ren. And yeah, now Ren's like using basically the tree's connection to it to just power slam it, like the Wrathy overlay kind of thing. So we've got like two planes colliding now. We've got a plane that was not existing, just suddenly being ripped back into the multiverse.
Surprise, fool.
And Teferi happens to be on that plane. Let's not get that twisted.
Yeah.
It's the big triumphant counterattack, everyone. The angels of New Capenna surge across the multiverse to expunge the Phyrexians and aid the desperate resistance. Kaya hits the corrupted Helioid with a folding chair. Meanwhile, on New Capenna proper, the super cool Atraxa and everyone love that everyone loves and was hoping to see some more character growth and intrigue from, has the mother of all buildings dropped on her head. Without a single line of dialogue, she dies. I write sins, not Atraxidize. Meanwhile, the big battle happens on New Phyrexia. Zhalfir is here, and they are kicking every conceivable sort of butt. Everywhere, physical or whether physical or mental, these are warriors with heart who welcome Teferi as their commander, despite the whole,
Yeah, that's the phasing out of their plane. A little whoopsie doodle there.
Yeah.
The Phyrexian forces collapse in on themselves. Elishnorn is mad and angry. Jin-Gitaxias decides she's over and turns on the Porcelain Legion. Ajani shows up too and is time stopped for his trouble.
Yeah, so basically Ajani shows up and he basically says like there is no Phyrexia unless Phyrexia is won, and starts defending Elishnorn, going to fight, and Teferi, bam, time freeze.
Just pauses them.
Yep.
Nice.
Giada?
Giada.
Giada's spirit enshrouds Elspeth as she decimates more Phyrexians. The nightmare's power they once held snuffed out. Jin-Gitaxias and Vorinclex fall.
Let's talk about that quickly. Sorry, I got to jump in there. This is the worst writing of this entire story. Is Vorinclex sees Teferi, realizes Teferi's a threat, and goes to 1v1 Teferi. Now this should be a battle. Vorinclex is like it's the big like survival of the fittest praetor. This thing's huge, and it basically jumps to attack Teferi, hits Teferi's defense as the time wall, and just like can't move, like just slow-mo stuck. And one of the lines is like, it doesn't matter how big and powerful you are, everything looks silly in slow motion. Mm-hmm. But then Vorinclex is able to break through that. So again, we got Vorinclex as a monster. It's able to break through this like time thing, and it's going to attack Teferi. And then and I'm kidding you not, use the line, Teferi goes, "Look out behind you." And then an unnamed warrior cuts off Vorinclex's head. That's a real thing that happens in the story. And they just kill Vorinclex with a "look out behind you" line. It's pretty garbage. It's pretty garbage writing.
Like doing a lot of people dirty here.
That's like that's Marvel movie writing.
It's pretty it's it's so clever. It's not clever. It's not clever. It's horrible writing. Yeah. Well, we'll get to some end parts after. But then also the Jin-Gitaxias is dying. Jin-Gitaxias is riding around on basically this big like chariot and has these like Phyrexians in a big vat and gets dropped into the vat and gets like eaten by its own creations.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, they get wrecked.
That's like a terrible way.
That's 3 of the Praetors dead, 1 tortured and assumed dead, which is the red one, Urabresk.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's 4 of the Praetors dead. Yeah, 3 and Urabresk might be dead. So there's only Elishnorn left.
Yeah.
Please carry on.
Phyrexia itself withers as the plane itself is dying, which it is. Karn himself reassembles his body as the Zhalfirians' backup starts regrouping. He personally approaches the dying Elishnorn and destroys her. Sad robot is sad. Destroying things makes him sad. But sometimes evil simply has to be destroyed. Wait, is that the moral here? That doesn't bode well for Ajani and Nissa, who have both been taken in alive.
Yeah. So Karn basically gets the will to fight finally, because Karn's been passive this whole time. And so Karn puts his body back together, rebuilds a body that like kind of lacks the masterwork that Karn normally has, just builds a body, but is forced to do kind of what Soren had to do with, what's her name? What's the angel's name?
Avacyn, yeah.
Yeah, he has to unmake it. And Elishnorn probably would have died. She literally has been through, like, this part is kind of not explained in this, but it's in the official story. The Phyrexians are fighting each other, and Elishnorn's basically been ripped nearly to shreds. Her legs are ripped off entirely, and she's still, like, crawling towards the platform and, like, the Realm Breaker and all of them. Like, the Elishnorn's not stopping. And Karn knows that if she's left alone, she may just die of her injuries, but realizes that that's not enough, and he has to finally take responsibility for what he allowed to come to pass. And some of the flavor text from that stuff is just incredible. Like it's it's kind of wasted on such a weird, like it's just a common card. So it's so odd that they would waste like the end artwork on that.
I find it, or looking at it, I kind of think of it like a different universe of like Pinocchio. Like Geppetto has to put down his own creation at the end.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, your nose grew so much that you stabbed someone. Sorry, you're an evil child.
What kind of Pinocchio are you reading, Brian?
Should watch the Netflix one. I swear.
The Guillermo del Toro version.
Apparently. It's the card is Mirrored and Avenged, which you finally see, and it's triumphant Karn holding the head of Elish Norn as he unmakes the rest of her.
Yes, I did see that.
It's
art.
pretty heavy metal, and the flavor text is, "You were my mistake. I will forever bear the weight of your horrors and of your end." Because again, he was forced to kill something, and Karn does not like to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. So we have both Nissa and Ajani captured and alive. All 5 Praetors dead in under a block. Most in pretty terrible ways, to be honest, like pretty garbage. Like Sholdred just like getting executed, not a great end. Vorinclex with the lookout behind you. Jin-Gitaxias being eaten. Elish Norn literally being disintegrated. Whoops-a-doodle.
Yeah, like I guess will this be the last set of Phyrexia with that kind of ending? Or will there be, I guess I'm going to assume, like new.
Yeah.
So what's
earlier in this, it said something about Elish Norn kind of just being what's there at the time.
But the oil's basically like rendered inefficient right now. So basically, Elish Norn dying like stops the invasion across the multiverse kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like that either. But what I think should have happened is the Praetors are really just like the heads of the factions, right?
Yeah.
And we had we had a Praetor of each color complete, like a Planeswalker of each color. I believe that's where the story should have gone. Jace should have been the new blue Praetor. We should have had who was it? It was Jace. Vraska's the new black one. Luca would be the new red. Nahiri Nissa the green. Ajani the white. Like they definitely had the Planeswalkers to do it.
Multicolored Praetors.
Yeah,
I think wasn't Luca red green.
Yeah. And red and white. Luca's a weird Planeswalker. Luca basically in this story as well just like went to Ikoria and was like trying to go buck wild on Ikoria and then just dies in Ikoria. Ikoria be crazy. I do want to
go back to Ikoria. Yeah.
Oh, they're going back to Ikoria.
Good.
That's one of the new sets coming up is Ikoria and then also Kaldheim.
And also Eldraine.
Oh yeah, there is another Eldraine. That's wicked. Eldraine was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I don't know anything about the lore, so I really enjoyed like I think I've said this on multiple episodes. The episode we did about the cat and his lady, Trin and Silvar.
Yep.
Like I really enjoyed
from the lore theme. Well, yeah, I love to build with the lore in mind. That's the next week's deck tech is going to be based on that, and it's something that I fell in love with immediately. And it's how do you say this name? It's like Borborygmos and Borborygmos and Fibblethip. That's like the silliest card. It's so funny. Like we've got like this shy little homunculus that disappeared. It's hilarious. From a lore standpoint, it's a great card. And just effect wise, it's cool. So that'll be next week's episode. Spoiler. But yeah, so anyways, we get to the end here. It says Aftermath. Not that's later, because the next set is March of Machines Aftermath. So Ren is dead. Teferi found an acorn within her body, like the ashes that she burned into. He's, of course, very emotional, and everything he's done has happened. Takes plenty of time to himself, finds the right place in Zelfir to plant her acorn. Even being gone, Teferi still managed to find some closure just by thinking about what Ren would say. Ren would want him to be thriving, and when that acorn blooms, perhaps she'll be there to see it. Super smash cut montage of some planes. So it says, listen, the Phyrexians all go dormant when the big boss is killed. Technically, the big boss is the plane of Phyrexia itself, which is now phased out into Zelfir. Zelfir has taken the place of Mirrodin in the multiverse. And we've got, we have Zelfir took its place. So New Phyrexia still exists. It's technically there, but it's adrift, phased out in the multiverse, unreachable.
So it's kind of in the same limbo.
Yeah.
Oh, so almost like New Phyrexia got pulled into the exile plane.
Yeah, exactly. It's phased out now where Zelfir was. Zelfir's taken its place. Like basically replace the planet of it. Yeah. Oh, and Zhalfir has like the moons or the suns of Phyrexia now, from what I've seen, which would be cool. Yeah, the 5 suns, I think. So anyways, it says, but that's indeed the ending here. So we just leave it alone. As Zhalfir celebrates, Melira and Karn decide to cook up a crazy scheme to try and save Ajani and Nissa. They know Mirrodin is gone, and they want what little they have left to leave the story slightly less of a bummer. Melira is going to die. She's been injured in this, and Karn's basically idea is that they're going to rip the sparks out of Elspeth and Ajani, and Karn is going to, like, Melira's power is like filtering the pheresis and stopping the corruption. So basically, Karn is going to use his spark to filter their sparks. So he's going to rip all 3 sparks out, shove their sparks through his, kind of like a filter to clean the soul, while Melira cleans the pheresis from their body to try and uncorrupt them and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So Melira's already dying, trying the best. Koth is furious about this. Koth is so angry because like so many Mirians died and these 2 people were like a part of it. They were evil. Why would they get to be saved out of everyone that could be? Like, why aren't they just killing the evil people? Elspeth and Koth have a great talk about it.
Yeah.
So anyways, it says basically that's what happens. It says Koth goes to meet angelic Elspeth. He has feelings about watching the last 2 Mirian friends do something like this to save the corrupted monsters. Like, he's very mad about it. Elspeth tries to talk with him about it. It's unclear if she's now too angelic to comprehend the worries the way she might have before, or maybe Koth just needs therapy. They all need therapy. But first, Ajani and Nissa get a spa day, one which cleanses their sparks and bodies and souls. It almost doesn't work on Nissa, but Chandra kiss wakes her up. It's a very storybook moment. It says, well, her hug wakes her, and then they kiss afterwards. Some evil baddies can be crushed with the power of teamwork and plot miracles. Others can be beaten by yelling at Wizards of the Cost until they make these girl bosses kiss at last. So that's basically where the story leaves off. We have the multiverse kind of in shambles, but we have something that's kind of interesting. They didn't really talk about the end of the Realm Breaker, what was connecting all these planes. So there is a possibility that the planes can still be connected, and interplanar travel for non-planeswalkers could finally be a thing. So like we may be able to see some of our favorite characters from certain places go over to other planes finally and like do cool stuff there. Like we might see like some, like I really like Squee, for instance, right? We might be able to see some Squee on Kaldheim kind of thing.
Some interplanetary trade.
Yeah, well, and it makes some really, really interesting things available, because again, only the planeswalkers have been able to go back and forth, right? But now if you have everyone able to, like, you could have like the elder dragons of like Arcavios like coming over and like learning cool things in, again, like Kaldheim, or visiting Dominaria with the like original primal dragons. It does open up a very, very vast world if that's the way that they choose to go. So I think that may be like giving them a little bit of credit for it. That may be where they're trying to take the story, instead of just like this a hasty wrap up, because again, there's currently not really a bad guy, right? Yeah. However, if every plane is interconnected now, it's not like all of these planes are going to be, not everyone's going to be friends, right? Like there's going to be now all of the resources of like the universe available, right? And if you're on a dying plane that needs something, or you're on a conquering plane, for instance, right? Like Kaldheim's a warrior plane. What's going to stop them from trying to roll over into Ikoria and kill all these giant beasts for glory and stuff, right?
Just like Monster Hunter, play there and go and farm resources from the monsters.
Yeah, so I think that may be the spot. Like I said, I'm unsure about it. Maybe the Realm Breaker is dead and gone with Nissa and Ren.
We might have actually thought about the wrong way. The Icorians could hire the Kaldheims to come and help defend the big cities.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's got some pretty cool implications for the future of the story. I think that there's a lot that they can do with it now, especially if there is that. Even without it and stuff, we know that there is a way to travel between planes now with this Realm Breaker, right? It's not just the planar bridge in Tezrit's chest, like. So it kind of does make something interesting. Jace is still kind of out there and Phyrexianized and crazy. So we don't know what's going on that, but we do know specifically that Jace does know where Bolas's realm is.
Oh.
So we may see Jace like end up like going and like going crazy and breaking out like the other bad guys. Like maybe that was the failsafe, and Jace breaks Emrakul out of the moon, followed by Bolas.
Phyrexian and Emrakul.
Yeah, Phyrexikul.
With no Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah. The problem with that though is that it's going to be the same thing. It'll be Emrakul's in the moon. They'll travel back in time. Then we got all three Eldrazi Titans. The Eldrazi Titans get completed. Someone does watch your step, and then one falls down the steps and dies. It's horrible writing for the end of these things.
He slipped on a banana peel.
Yeah. The end of like the Gatewatch stuff has been interesting to see how they're trying to do it. They can't just keep going with the same characters forever, right? Like a lot of us have played Magic for so long, and the end of the story we grew to love is kind of here, right? This is the wrapping up of another one, just like War of the Spark was. They've been introducing lots of new planeswalkers. So yeah, I'm interested to see kind of where they go and what they do. I really, really hope that I'm right about the interplanar travel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like I said, it just would make such a cool thing. You'd have these like hyper advanced planes like Kaladesh, and it's giant like gear mechs able to like go over and help out like other things. We could possibly see like Amonkhet be restored a little bit as a plane, because it's essentially a dead plane after the Nicol Bolas stuff, because he's totally insane. Yeah, that's basically the story of Mother Machines summarized.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed this write-up. Like, where's the name here?
Owl Prophet Magician.
Prophet Magician.
Huge kudos and thanks to Owl Prophet Magician. This was an awesome write-up. Love the bits of humor and everything in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's like written for it. Well, I swear it's you, but
for anyone who knows me in person, it is a silly way I write. No, and again,
I'm different like mannerisms and everything that were written into this.
Oh God, with the chair! Oh no!
Yeah, and Tamio already. Sheesh, like that.
Yeah. It's like I said, this was great. I'm very happy that we were able to go over this write up, because I think that it was done phenomenally. The story, I think it's much better than trying to read through the story. The story was kind of long winded to get. You guys get the gist of it. You've just listened to the episode, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, like I said, I'm a giant fan of lore, and with these like new cool team up cards, it would be just really, really fun to see like some of the craziest like characters we have like going back and forth, right? Like even we've got like the Mavrin and Galta, right? That's a very unlikely pairing and stuff. But the vampires of Ixalan meeting some of the vampires of like Innistrad would be pretty cool stuff. New vampire bloodline families.
Yeah, because I Lord Brarian's another really great channel on YouTube.
Yep.
They did a whole like series on the vampires and how the family like kind of split out.
Yeah.
So having them reconnect in a way would be like, would they be infighting, or would they greet each other with open arms? Yeah, right. Like it's, and again, a lot of different planes of angels could finally like be around each other as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like I said, I hope that that's the way that they're going, because I don't really see any other way unless they're going to recycle the villains, because it's you can't just keep introducing like new strong villains out of nowhere. Like no one's ever seen this one, and they're suddenly also a threat. Like it's right. So again, like I think the interplanar war would be the cooler thing, and then who rises to pick up the pieces at the end. Well, or like the planeswalkers having to try keep peace in the actual multiverse now, because everyone can so freely go, right? Yep. Tons of new Ragavan cards, something like that. You guys get it?
Oh yeah.
Pirates are now going to different planes.
Well, yeah, and it's it would be pretty cool to, because there's multiple gods throughout the universe, right? And a lot of the places like specifically again on Amonkhet, Hazoret still exists, right? Hazoret's like a god incarnate and like walking around and stuff. Well, can this god now walk to another plane? Like maybe Theros is more of a place, right? Maybe they're able to do some more cool stuff. The need for a spark to travel has been like the cornerstone of the story for so long. And if that need's gone, it really introduces a lot. Like it's just essentially, it's essentially a 30-year long world building experiment that we can possibly just go through now, right? Like we've got all of these different planes, all these different established stories with like landmarks and legends and gods and heroes, and they can finally all interact in like this big sandboxy kind of world. I think that that's the best place for it. So like I said, that's my thought and hope. It's the best hope I have. Cool. Yeah.
Because I think as long as they do it well.
Yeah.
Because it will be so easy to just have everything be muddled.
Yeah. They've been watering planeswalkers down for a while, which is not a horrible thing, right? Like, especially like if you go back to like the Urza time when they were like essentially gods, that's kind of hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that there's so many plane specific mechanics that would be great to see in other places, right? Like I just would like to see so much more expanded. Like Foretell is a great example. Again, like it was such a fun mechanic, but it's not fleshed out enough. They're going back to Call Time. It'll be great to see that. But
like same with Evolve too. It was that one set.
Yeah.
I love that mechanic. Please, Wizards.
That was a lot of people love the mutate mechanic too.
Yep.
Right. So like it'll be cool to see like some and again with like things like this mutate mechanic from Ikoria, and then like think of just like the Simic Guild on Ravnica where they're all nuts. That's like what they live for. And stuff, right? And
Icing Genes.
Again, a lot of the guild pact, like a lot of the guilds from Ravnica would be really, really cool in different places. Like you've got like New Capenna's like conniving system, and they can possibly like deal with and talk with like the Dimir guild lords now and stuff. You've got like the law and order kind of guilds able to try police things like the Boros and the Azorius trying to militarize the multiverse. Like there's I think a lot of there's a lot of potential.
You could even have the guilds trying to set up outposts or other like chapters on those different planes.
Yep. You've got all the cons as well, like the triple shard cons and everything like that, like the Jeskai, all those.
The families from New Capenna.
Yep, all the criminal crime families trying to expand out the Carabrettis, all those kind of things. Like I said, I think that would be the coolest place that it could go. Again, I love Selvala as a character. Selvala is not a planeswalker. Selvala can't travel around. But Selvala Explorer Returned could really explore the multiverse. Yeah. Parlay all day.
You could have the pirates fight like the thieves guilds of New Capenna.
Yeah,
they're infringing on their territories.
I think if they back a little bit away, because that's been one of the things for a while. How do you rewrite these new planeswalkers? Oh, and with the Theros gods, as Slothy was mentioning earlier, it's all about prayer and devotion and stuff, right? So I think it gives a really, really good place for Gideon to ascend from. I think it's Avernus. Is there hell? It might not be Avernus. It might be something else. Anyways, from whatever the underworld that Elspeth, because again, we saw Elspeth come back, right? So Gideon coming back as the god of the plane would be really, really cool. Elspeth remaking Sarah's realm, which basically the Phyrexians took over and Sarah just let herself die because she was so heartbroken at her plane being destroyed. Like, there's tons of cool places, but we haven't been able to expand because you can't make all these characters planeswalkers. Like all the cool legendaries we get and stuff, you can't make them all planeswalkers. So they're kind of stuck in their blocks, and it makes it nearly impossible. But I think we could see as well like smaller stories where it's not just focused on the planeswalkers, and you could have these like really cool crowd favorites. Like Atraxa dying so easily was such a bummer because so many people love Atraxa, right? Yeah, I can rant about what I'd like about the lore for ages, but that's basically my thoughts on where the story goes, I hope, and on that was our March of Machines thoughts. So yeah.
It seems like a fun story, but
technically not our thoughts. That was Owlman's.
Yes. I think like it's kind of cool that the story, but I don't like the cheap murdering off of characters. But I guess like it has to happen. Like if you really want the story to progress.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's ways to do it that still feel impactful, even if it's just okay. You need to die to progress things.
True.
You had I talk all the time about how amazing the writing for Amonkhet was. That was amazing. the War of the Spark revelations that like the gods had come back in like a dead reincarnated form, leading like the Dreadhorde army. That was like devastating news to anyone who knew like the story. Like that was great writing. And then, like I said, we got literally the line was like, "Oh, look behind you." It's horrible, trash writing.
Hey, what's that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit on a whoopee cushion.
No,
next.
there's someone there for real. It was bad. It was really bad, and it was again like Vorinclex supposed to be like essentially like a miniature god of battle, and they're just like, meh. Vorinclex was strong enough to like go through the planar bridge as not dead material, which like the body was like ruined from it. But again, this is a strong Praetor, and they're like, what if we took someone who no one knows who it is, and we just have them decapitate him?
Yeah, seems fun.
Yep. Let's just what are we talking about? Oh, and then there's also the ability for and last part of the story is that Karn is now sparkless. So Karn's essentially just a big golem who now resides on Zelfir.
I'm looking forward to Karn, no abilities, 3/3.
Right?
Gonna go back to the original Karn.
But yeah, that's the end of it. Anyone else have anything else to say on it?
I think the only thing, kind of going back to when you're mentioning like the gods traversing, if anything, I really hope they have an explanation, like if that does happen, how the Theros gods do that, because they're so based on the belief and devotion.
Simply by spreading the devotion.
Yeah,
true. But then would that mean that their followers would have to go through first?
Oh yeah.
The knowledge of like they would have to spread their prayer or the knowledge of that god to that plane first.
The Theros Holy Wars, Kaladesh will learn by force.
Yeah, like you could really do almost like a magic kind of crusade of spreading devotions to different planes at that point in time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the Holy Wars would be to be honest, the Holy Wars would be a pretty cool thing where it's just like, hey, like we are like, you know, this is the devotion of Krufix, and we are coming for Strixhaven. We want knowledge. Krufix is the god of knowledge, and we're coming for that library.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
worship or die.
Again, there's always going to be zealots in every single group, so like, you could even have it just like a.
Well, that's what Elish Norn was, right? Elish Norn was just the crazy Praetor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
Anyways.
excited with the things that they could do. Like if they go in any route that we discussed, I think that would be very cool.
Yeah. It's like I said, I think personally struggled to establish new planeswalkers that we care. Like, did anyone care about Luca? I told you guys Luca died at the beginning of the story.
No.
Yeah, no one cared.
But again, I don't read a lot of the story, and I don't play planeswalkers. I don't like them as a card in general. Will and Rowan weren't even here. Tybalt basically died off screen in the last one. Like Tyvar killed him. Again, who's Tyvar, right? Tyvar's got a cool ability, but I don't think anyone cares about Tyvar.
Tyvar's kind of growing on me.
Yeah, Tyvar's cool. Tyvar likes to throw down. But that's what I mean, right? It's not the Gatewatch. It's not the effect that they had. And a lot of, especially with Commander players, right? If you listen to this podcast, you like Commander, obviously. It's what we talk about. It's number one. Yeah. But no, it's we build the decks because we like the cards, right? And that can be from an artwork. It can be from an ability. A lot of times it's from lore, Brian. Like Brian said at the beginning with the Trin and Silva, right? He just liked the lore of what was going on with it. And I think it's kind of gotten to a point now where the story's better with those characters than it is with the Planeswalkers. Like the Planeswalkers have these really, really cool abilities, but so do so many of these other things, right? There's so many like magic things. You can still have Planeswalkers. You can still have sparks igniting and all that kind of stuff, but
they don't have to be the main characters.
Yeah, like I said, there's just lots of characters. Like Muldrotha is something that I just like. I love Muldrotha. The Yargle stuff, that's hilarious. Like the Yargle Multani card, that's so funny. And like Yargle going through like the multiverse just trying to eat is hilarious. Just like eat everything that's going on, like the glutton of Urborg himself. It just there's so many characters that are I love Squeeze. Squeeze so cool. We've got like just so many great cards that are not Planeswalkers, and then once that set's gone, we're just kind of away from them for so long, and we just wonder what's going on with them. Every 5 or 6 years, we might get like a new card or a mention, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Omnath going through the multiverse collecting mana.
Yeah. Like, Yeah, like you don't have to do like a block, like the whole story of wars. Like give even like stories of like keeping us up to date on what those characters are doing. Like you have a huge IP that you're able to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I think this gives them the chance, if they do it the right way, it gives them the chance to just expand the story, and it's the perfect example for their universes beyond, which is what they've been trying to push so much with everything about how every universe is like kind of welcome in the Magic. Like you've got the story here. Don't blunder it with terrible writing
or money hungry tactics.
Yeah, like Commander Legends. Whew.
Do it for the lore.
But yeah, there's so many cards and mechanics we all love that we all wish like had a little more support, a little more this, a little more that. So I'm excited to see where the story goes from here. We've got the March of Machines. I know that they've got some cool stuff. Also, Garrick's a lunatic. He's still out there.
Yep.
Maybe Garrick will be like hunting down Jace and Vraska and like the completed Planeswalkers. I could see that being a thing. There's going to be for sure have to be like in a Johnny's what's the word I'm thinking here? Not vindication, but like he's gonna have to like try apologize. Basically, the Johnny apology tour.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have to reprove himself.
The Johnny reintroduction.
Yeah, right. Like it's helping the Praetors unwillingly or not is still not gonna be looked on very good through the multiverse.
That's true.
I think it's gonna go pretty poorly. So yeah, that's where the story ends for now. I'm rolling these credits because I'll talk my Magic conspiracies all day, every day about where I hope it goes. Wow, I got that loud. For everyone who has listened and made it through to the end of the episode, thank you very much. It's been really, really great talking lore. If you ever want to find all our content in one spot, into the99.com, just a one-stop shop for everything that you're looking for any of our stuff. We put games up on Thursdays. We're going to be doing some live stream stuff. We had planned to do it last weekend, but I was sick and I've been still sick. Slothy's a little under the weather, so we'll get back there when we're all back up at 200%. But still got episodes coming out. If you want to support us, like, share, subscribe. That really, really goes a long way. And if you want to go a step further, join us up on Patreon. It's a great way to just give a little more than that like, subscribe, share. It really helps us make more kind of stuff. We keep getting more and more cameras and the ability to do more and more stuff. So it's been very, very fun to expand what we can do. A great chat room, really, really cool people that we can chat with. We have lots of awesome ideas. They're going to get to see these deck lists that we're all building early. So if you ever want to come talk decks and just chat with us in general, it's a great place to do it. Again, super friendly group. We're going to be doing some Patreon streams soon. We talked a little bit about that this week in the Patreon chat. So yeah, it's going to be a great time. Lots of exciting stuff coming out as always. I appreciate everyone getting to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. And let me know what you think, where the story is going to go. Like, do you want to see this Planeswalkers like kind of be the main thing? Or do we want to see this multiverse kind of stuff? Where do we want it to go? And then, yeah, join me in the spoilers episode when I nonstop complain about battles because they're bad. They're a trash mechanic. And yeah, that's it. Music's done. Music's done. Episode's done.
See you later.